Feels good. Personally, I'm a martial artist. I started with judo when I was 5 with my father, and I used to do that quite a bit. I used to compete nationally. I moved into wrestling. I was Division I state runner-up for wrestling in Florida in high school. And more recently, I've spent a lot of time doing a Korean martial art called Hapkido. Literally translated, it means coordinated flow of energy. Right? So it's how to be one with yourself. You don't speak about the other as an opponent, rather a partner, and it's all about growth and development. It's quite comprehensive. It includes conventional things of what you think in terms of martial arts, kicking, punching, locks and throws. It also has meditative forms, as well as a whole slew of weapons, sword, dagger, staff, cane. It's impossible to become 100% proficient, so we are always students on the path towards improving ourselves. With respect to physical fitness, when I was much younger, if I had a limited amount of time, say 20 minutes, I would have quickly done some of what you just saw, right? Some pull-ups, some push-ups, sit-ups, if possible get in a quick run, and I'd feel like I worked out and I look a certain way, right? But now, having traveled a bit and studied a bit and gone deeper within myself and studies and kind of connected to all that was and all that is and will be, I've changed, right? So given those 20 minutes today, I spend it very differently, right? For me, step one is always meditation, contemplation with myself, calming my mind and my thoughts in order to go deeper, right? So I'll show you, so typically what I do is within the arena of transcendental meditation, where you have a mantra, but that takes a bit more training, kind of one-on-one. So what I'll demonstrate is more of a Zen Buddhist type of meditation, which is just as powerful, just as good. At the end of the day, it really comes down to consistency, right? So what I would do is relax. Close my eyes, inhale, exhale, right? And sometimes, to help get you there, I would say inhale, and as you inhale, feel the crown of your head rising to the heavens. Hold and then exhale. And as you exhale, feel your feet being grounded into the core of the earth. And you continue with that process. Inhale, and as you inhale, you're going higher and higher into the heavens. And the light of the universe is shining through your crown. And as you exhale, that light goes through your entire body. And you can go through the process of it shooting through your head and your eyes and your cheeks and your chin, your neck, your shoulders. And literally, you can go as detailed as you like and have it run all the way down through your body while still inhaling and exhaling fully, and out through your feet, through all your sensory points, and into the earth, and into the earth's core. And what I did when I first started meditating many years ago, I made sure that the amount of time was quite short. So it never felt like an arduous task, right? So I started off with 5 minutes a day, just calming my mind, calming my spirit. My eyes inside my head were focused on my third eye, right here. And I'm just trying to relax. You shouldn't stress if thoughts run through your mind, that's natural. If they don't, that's good as well. And you just relaxed. And then what I did was every week, I would add 1 minute. So it's never a big deal. But the results, the benefits are substantial. And before getting into the results with you, I want to demonstrate proper breathing. So I took off my shirt, not just to show you my physique, which probably can use work, but to show you the breath, right? So you want to inhale fully, right? So down the lower part of your abdomen, through your stomach, chest, all of your shoulders, and you should look imploded like strange, right? So that's a full breath. And then exhale, same, all the way throughout. Release everything to the point where it's almost like your belly button is touching your spinal cord. That's a full breath. So you actually want to practice, while you meditate, you want to practice breathing properly. Right? If you look at a baby, typically, they breathe like this. At some point, we forget how to breathe. And it's really fundamental, and the benefits are substantial, right? So through the process of breathing fully, you're helping to reset your organs. You're helping to make sure your blood is flowing properly. You're helping to do so many things internally that you don't want to miss out on. With respect to meditation itself, each person's journey is somewhat different. I can tell you that as I sit here meditating, I feel conflicted between just relaxing and saying nothing and sharing the benefits with you because it feels so good. But the benefits for me have been substantial, right? So everything from an increased ability to pay attention to detail, to notice subtleties, increase memory capacity. All these things I think have accrued further than what I had before through the act of meditating regularly. All right? And I don't want to provide too much, so I'll stop there with respect to the meditation. So now, when I start my day, I typically go right into meditation. From there, I move into some increased breath work. Typically, I'll do what's called breath of fire. For those who have done yoga, you'll often see it in yoga as well. And for those who don't know, martial arts actually stems from yoga. So yogis came from India into modern day China, and Kung Fu and martial arts actually grew out of that. And so you'll see a lot of overlap between martial arts and various yogic traditions. So with the breath of fire, what you're doing is you're focusing on the exhalation, right? And with a lot of these things, you're gonna have to get comfortable looking strange, right? So you're almost creating hyperventilation. And if you're not used to doing this, a minute will have significant positive effects, right? And the only thing I would say is it's generally not recommended that children do breath of fire, nor is it recommended that women do it while on the menstrual cycle. Otherwise, it should be highly beneficial. So I typically do that for 3 to 5 minutes, but as I said, when you're starting off, 30 to 60 seconds will have significant benefits. Some that you'll see, so through the process of moving your stomach as such, you're contracting the abdominal muscles, and it helps to make the muscles stronger, and you should see some physical benefits to the eye. So with the breath of fire, by doing so, it's gonna help you continue to shape your physique, especially your abdominals. I would say 60 seconds of breath of fire is worth hundreds of sit-ups. So in terms of a fitness hack, if you will, you could think of it along those lines. But more importantly, it's about going in. So the benefits are really profound. It helps to pump more oxygen through your body and through your bloodstream. It helps to reset your organs and it helps them function the way they should. It helps with your digestive system and also making sure that things are flowing. Your metabolism is on point because typically as people age, their metabolism and their organs tend to function less optimally. And with the breath of fire, it helps with all of those things. And then also, for all the runners and athletes who want to develop their cardio, it really helps with the lung capacity and cardiovascular system. For example, on my end, in 2011, I had shoulder surgery, and I wasn't allowed to do anything for 5 or 6 months. And literally all I did at the time was meditation and breath work. And once I was able to go back and start doing things, I was able to go just as fast, just as far, if not more so, just from the act of doing some of these things. And it's part of the reason I'm sharing. So after breath of fire, I typically move on to what's called the lying pose. So I sit like this, usually my shoes are off. I put my hands, so the ball of my feet are on the floor, my hands are on the knees. I inhale, I usually do 3 full breaths, right? Full inhalation, full exhalation. On the 3rd inhalation, I come up a little. And what I do from here, this is where the lying pose comes in. So I extend I flex my entire body. So my calves, my legs, my arms, everything's flexed. And I extend my tongue out of my mouth and my eyes are facing up towards the heavens. So that's one set of lying pose. And this is also highly beneficial. So in terms of exercise, right? So as I mentioned, if I only have a few minutes, rather than do the conventional things I used to do, I'll typically do things like this. So literally I'll do lying pose 3 times for 3 full breaths each time. It may take 2 to 3 minutes. But by the end of that, it has the equivalent benefit in terms of fitness as if you had a full 45-minute workout. Because there's something about flexing your entire body at the same time and coordinating with the breath that has profound benefits to your physique and your body and everything. And then beyond that, I'm sure if you're looking at me, I look nuts, right? So, right? So actually through the act of doing something like lying pose regularly and being comfortable with yourself looking out of your mind, that actually helps to create a greater sense of self and confidence and simultaneously understanding that you're everything and nothing and none of it really matters, right? So on the drop of a dime, whatever needs to be done, lying pose. Right, and then go down. And the other thing I found is actually through the act of that concentration with the breath and everything else, it takes you to a different place in terms of how you feel. I think it helps, like it's hormonal in nature, and it pumps things into your system, which gets you in a good place, good mood, and it's all positive. There are no negative externalities with it, but you get a lot of the plus side. So I definitely highly recommend that you try that. The other thing I would mention as a point of caution, and I used to mess this up, so if you see me coming up and I'm flexing, you never want to go beyond kind of 60 to 80% capacity, right? So yeah, and I'm flexing, but not at my highest level. And the reason is if you go 100%, you might hurt yourself. You might, bust blood vessels, something can happen. And it's also just not sustainable. Whereas you're always around 60 to 80%, that 60 to 80% becomes 60 to 80% of a bigger amount over time. So you're still gonna see significant benefits, but you wanna use caution within the construct of how you do it. Right, so that's lying pose. All right, so we've gone through some meditation, done breath of fire, done lying pose. One of the other things I really enjoy doing is being mindful and thoughtful about the chi. So as mentioned, I'm a practitioner of hot keto, coordinated flow of energy. And in Eastern philosophy, the chi is critically important. People really pay attention to developing, building, growing, maintaining one's chi. And there's an entire practice around that. So I want to quickly go through one of the chi building activities that I tend to do. It's called the 8-step chi breathing exercise, all right? So typically I'll start as such, and then I'll go into this position, a horse stance. And as with everything else we've done, the breath is very important. So inhale, exhale, right? And actually, instead of 8-step, we're going to do 5-step. So the first step, you're just in this position. You're imagining that there's a ball between your hands and there's energy flowing there. Right? So usually I'll do this 3 times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So that's step 1. Step 2, out. So inhale. So let's keep breathing number 2. Now step 3, we're bringing the energy inward, pushing it out. Inward. Step 4, down. And then 5. You should feel great because you're releasing the tension that built up in your legs with the horse stairs. And then finish here. Alright, so that's the chi building technique. The last thing I'd like to go over is kind of counterintuitive when you think about fitness and martial arts, but it's a gratitude exercise. And I picked this up from our grandmaster. At the end of the 8-hour exam that we had, he wanted us each to do a gratitude exercise, which consisted of 3 bows that make 1 whole, and he wanted us to do it 120 times. I don't expect that anyone is necessarily going to do it 120 times, but I like to incorporate at least 10 times most mornings as part of my morning ritual, and I'll go through that with you real quick. So we start here again, and part 1 is as such. And you give thanks for something. So let's say I'm giving thanks for the breath that I just took. And from here, you bring your hands down, you kneel, here, come down, and I give thanks for that breath again. And I come back up. Here, and here, and then I bow from the inside, and I give thanks for that breath. That's 1. Then I'll do it again. And I might give thanks for my entire family. And then I come down. For my entire family again. And I come up. So with the gratitude bow, I can't begin to describe how powerful it is, right? So when my teacher said to do so, I listened, I complied. And it was one morning that week, I did 120 bows. Then I went out to the streets of New York, as I normally would, and literally, big people, small people, men, women, children, adults, random people would smile at me, say hello. It just felt like I was a new person. The interactions I was having were so compelling. right? And I think it comes down to the energy that one puts out when you're coming from a place of gratitude. And that simple exercise of giving thanks really resets you from inside out in order to radiate a very powerful light and energy that other people can feel, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all made of energy, and the more work we do to be at our highest frequency, the more compelling and more interesting we'll be to those that we interact with. And so I highly encourage that every single person that watches this at least try the gratitude vows. I typically do 10 or more a day. It's really simple, we'll do it in a few minutes. And if you do this for even 2 weeks straight, I'd love to get your feedback as to what your experiences have been, and I can only hope that they're half as great as my experiences have been. Thank you.